Hello, today I'm going to go ahead and show you the process of removing the ball joint. This is a video that I can't seem to find online anywhere, so I thought I'd go ahead and post my journey on it. I'm using zero special tools. I have a couple uh, crowbars. I have a three-pound hammer, and one of my crowbars is from Dollar Tree, and it works just fine. So you do not have to have all the special tools. I fortunately did not have to come across the process of using a Dremel or anything like that. I got a little nervous at the end, but it seemed like after about 2 hours on the right passenger side, it seemed like it wanted to come out. The other side just seemed to come out, and I'll show you my method of doing this. Currently, I'm removing the E12 reverse Torx nuts, I believe. So that is a process of getting those nuts out on both ends, and the journey starts after that process. So now that the bolts are removed, you want to go ahead and start to what I would consider break the seal on the ball joint around it. So you have me with a flathead with my 3-pound hammer, just kind of breaking. I would consider a seal. You might have some, salt from the car from up north. Mine's a Florida car, and this is what I did to start the process of trying to get the edge starting to break off. Here in a second, you'll see a hit that actually breaks it down right here. It did separate, as you can see. Now, by no means am I going to tell you this is easy, but you start to get your crowbar, whether it's small or big, and you begin to get the best angle you can, and you'll notice my control arm is currently still in place. Later in the video, you'll also notice that I have released it to lower it down, but get the best hit on it and make sure when you do hit it, you get a good hit. So I'm doing this on my garage floor, as you can tell, but you'll notice throughout this video the edges will begin to drop more because I'm making my way through the flange, as I would call it, and releasing that from the structure of the vehicle. I'm sharing this clip because on the right flange you'll notice it did lower, so it is showing the progress here and me smacking it from the left side now with my flathead. Here's a different angle. I tried to go from directly under the car on my back. Didn't really work at all. It's kind of a waste of time, but this is a better angle to show you on the right side. What I mean by the flange is I've just got a couple hits in there, a couple good hits there, and you'll notice my flathead is going through the right side. So that's a good thing. It's a positive sign. It's beginning to separate. So you can agree or disagree, but here's a method that I learned from the forums. I'm not going to take credit for it, but I tried it, and it actually worked on the other side really well. That's actually how I got the ball joint out so quick. What you're seeing me do is put a spacer, quote-unquote spacer, and I'm using my lug nut. It didn't even affect it at all. It didn't even bend the control arm, so I'm not worried about that. But I'm putting the lug nut in the middle of the control arm and the actual structure of the vehicle, and then I'm taking the nut and just slowly torquing it down. That's it. And pretty much what you're doing is that's your homemade pulling tool. This actually worked, obviously on my left side, but this did help and assist me on the right side with pulling it out a little farther. And if you're lucky on the first time, it will come out, but most likely it will not. But it will assist you with getting it out of its little bore. Be sure to switch on and off from the crowbar to the flathead. I saw the most progress with the flathead. You'll notice it will get stuck, but that's okay. Slowly wiggle it out. Do not break your flathead head in the flange. So it's important on the other side now to make your way with your flathead, going on the other side of the tie rod. In the middle of the tie rod and the rotor, there will be a little slot for you to go ahead and make your way in. You're going to have to hit the crap out of the side. Just make sure you're hitting at the right spot to break open the left side flange. It will work. So because of how beat up I knew this ball joint was getting, I had to get this thing out. So I went ahead and used 2 lug nuts this time, one on both sides, and then torqued it down harder because I really wasn't nervous about threads stripping, which they didn't at all, and I went pretty hard on it. So this is just witnessing that. And after I torqued everything down pretty hard, I thought I might as well get a few hits with a crowbar, so I went ahead and got my heavy crowbar and got a couple good hits, one or two hits I believe, on this. Um, Not a very comfortable spot, but it worked to at least bump it. So now what I'm doing is I'm pulling so hard on the ball joint. I wanted to make sure I was intentional while I had the camera to get a close up and show you the progress I've made. It's kind of hard to see the progress when you're so far away, but look how far it is away from the structure of the vehicle. That's quite a ways. You'll even see the center of the ball joint is visible now at this point. So the goal is to keep on getting that flathead in there and breaking that. I would constantly switch it up. So as you can see, I got my flathead kind of stuck in on the left side. I thought I went ahead and just took a couple hits on the right side to maybe even it out, which it did. So that helps. Another great example of using both flatheads, one on both sides, and just kind of smacking them in slowly but surely. They're going in, and what they're doing is now separating both sides because I've got them separated, and it's bringing them down farther and jolting the ball joint. And once I finally got those out, you'll notice, checked out how low that came out. That's incredible. So that's really good news here. And then what I did was I got the crowbar in there, and I didn't really even have to hit it. I got the small one in there and just kind of pulled, and it just dropped out. And that's exactly what this was about. There you go. So this is where I'm really thankful after the 2.5 hours laying on my right side. So I hope this helps everyone, as I'm also honored to be the first to post this video of this DIY online.